Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Zack Poff here with MaxPreps.com. National football editor. I'm getting excited, man. It's almost time for football season. So I tell you what, you guys hit me up with anything you want to talk about. I was going to kind of focus on some of the top games coming up to start the season. Obviously, you got, big NorCal game up here with Folsom and De La Salle, two top 25 teams. And also just want to talk about some of the top players, top storylines, everything. So hit me up with some questions, and I'll start firing away with you guys. So let's see. Hawaii started last week, and there'll be some more games this coming weekend. But the week after that, you'll start seeing more states kind of get rolling. I know California is starting. A lot of teams are starting August 16th, 17th, and the 18th that weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So, just hit me up with some questions. We'll go ahead and start with De La Salle Folsom. I keep going back and forth with that game. I think that game's pretty much 50-50. Hit me up on Twitter there, Versace, and I'll get you some highlights cut up too, bro. But De La Salle Folsom, I think that's going to be a fun game. You got the Ngata brothers with Folsom and Caden Bennett, very explosive offense. De La Salle, though, they've kind of dominated Northern California football, haven't lost to a NorCal opponent since 1991, Pittsburgh High School. So that's going to be a fun one, man. If you guys want, I'll give you a prediction a little later. I'm going to actually be at that game. A lot of us from MaxPreps are going to be there, so that's going to be a fun one. I saw IMG Mater Dei. That game's not going on till, I believe it's September 21st. I'm going to actually go down to SoCal for that one also, too. That's really one of the best games we've seen over the last decade. And when it comes to Division I talent, I don't know if there's going to be another game on the schedule that has more than that. Obviously with Mater Dei, you got Bryce Young, the new quarterback, transfer from Cathedral High School out in the Los Angeles area. He takes over for JT Daniels. That's going to be a storyline all season long. He's a big-time number one dual-threat quarterback from 2020. He's got Brew McCoy, who's arguably the best player from 2019, five-star linebacker, five-star wide receiver, five-star wherever you put the guy. Miles Morale is going to be the leader on the offensive line, and that's going to be a big storyline for Mater Dei this year because, they lost guys like Tommy Brown and Chris Murray, senior leadership with the offensive line last year. Obviously, JT Daniels, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and CJ Parks, the list goes on and on. But, Bruce Rawlinson's really got a lot of transfers coming in and guys that were on the team last year that are big time. And you look at the secondary from Mater Dei, you got Elias Riggs, five-star, number two, maybe number one in a lot of people's eyes. And then Darion Green-Warren, Oklahoma commit. And you got Jeremiah Cordell coming over from Oregon too. So that's going to be a good one. Let's see what else you got. Do you want to pick? I'm going to probably – I don't know, man. I love IMG too. You got Trey Sanders, Noah Kane, best backfield in high school football in my opinion. The big question mark with IMG this year is going to be the quarterback position. They had the same problem last year also too, but they still went undefeated. They lost guys like Buki, Brendan Radley-Hiles, and Xavier Thomas too, but they still got Nolan Smith on the D-line, Charles Thomas, a Michigan commit. So they're still loaded on defense, but I'll probably go Mater Dei that game, but we'll figure it out when it gets closer. Pauley versus Narbonne. I like Narbonne this year. It's going to be interesting with Narbonne, though, because they have a lot of transfers coming in who didn't get cleared by the CIF, so they're going to have to sit out the first month of the season. So, guys like Jake Garcia, you talked about Pauley Narbonne. He's a Pauley transfer. He's going to have to sit out the first month of the season, so we'll see how that affects Narbonne. But, they got guys like Brandon Jones in the defense, at the cornerback position, big-time guy from 2020. He's nice. And they got a really good offensive line, too. So I like Narbonne this year. Okay, so we got a Mission Viejo question. I like Mission Viejo a lot this year. They did lose, some guys, obviously, with Austin Osborne and, little Warren G., Elijah Griffin, who's now at USC. But I still like what Mission Viejo's bringing to the table. All right, guys. What other games you want? Some other big games to start the year. You got DeMatha Catholic, who's a DMV power against St. Thomas Aquinas. I believe that game's August 25th. That's going to be a big-time game. Aquinas is right there with IMG, Mater Dei, Bosco when it comes to D1 talent. Every year, Aquinas is there. They've won 7 state titles since 2008. They've produced guys like the Bosa brothers, Joey and Nick, and the list goes on and on. DeMatha's got a big-time secondary this year with DeMarco Helms and Nick Cross, so that's going to be a fun one. Servite Orange Lutheran. Servite's good, but they're very young this year. And Orange Lutheran, when you look at their offense, man, Ryan Helinski, big-time quarterback. I don't know if a quarterback's had a better kind of offseason at camps than Ryan Helinski. He's really shown why he's one of the best quarterbacks in high school football. Kyle Ford, when it comes to playmaking ability, he showed it in Dallas at the opening. He was the MVP for a reason. Ethan Ray's coming back from a torn ACL, so he's one of the best tight ends in the country. So that's going to be a fun guy to watch. Logan Loya, a big-time 2020 wide receiver. I love what Orange Lutheran's doing on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm going to roll with Olu. And speaking of Olu, man, how about the Trinity League this year? You got the number 1 and number 2 teams in the nation in the same league, along with Orange Lutheran. J. Sarah Catholic's going to be good this year. A guy to keep your eye on for J. Sarah Catholic is Chris Street. He's a transfer from Mater Dei. He's going to be playing at J. Sarah Catholic this year. He's a guy I think is going to be big time too. And they got a guy Luckett too out there who's a big time playmaker. All right, let's see what else. What other games you guys want me to talk about? I see some Jersey questions. Speaking of Jersey, there was only one team in the top 25 to start the year, and that was Bergen Catholic, a team that won the state title. I believe it was non-public Group 4 last year. And they lose some guys, obviously, but they got the backfield coming back with Ramir Johnson and Josh McKenzie. So I see a guy out here saying Folsom going to get that upset. I wouldn't even call it an upset, to be honest, man. I think this game's 50-50. I get it. De La Salle hasn't lost to a NorCal team since, I was 4 years old, and I'm 30 now, so do the math, 26 years ago. But I wouldn't even call it an upset, man. Folsom's loaded. They won a state title last year, went undefeated. And the thing I love about this game is the winner of this game is probably going to represent Northern California in the Open Division game for the CIF state title. So, the winner of that one's going to most likely play, St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, or don't sleep on Corona Centennial this year either, too. I like what Corona Centennial's doing. A lot of people are sleeping on them. Okay, I haven't talked about Texas yet. I see a Lake Travis question out there. We got some sauce coming out with Garrett Wilson at the end of the month, too, so stay tuned to that. He's a 2019 Ohio State committee. He's a big-time wide receiver. I believe he's the best wide receiver in high school football, in my opinion, actually. Hudson Card takes over at quarterback. He's a 2020 Texas commit. And, Lake Travis, they're known for having big-time quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, the Brewer brothers, the list goes on and on. Garrett Gilbert was the Gatorade Player of the Year back when he was there before Baker Mayfield. And I believe Hudson Card's going to be another guy that's going to be a big-time quarterback from Lake Travis. The thing with that, man, they gotta beat Allen and they got to beat Katy. They beat Katy last year, but they fell short to Allen in the state title game. Allen brings everybody back. You got Grant Tisdale still at quarterback. Theo Weiss, bad dude at wide receiver, 5-star wide receiver. You can make a case he's the best wide receiver in high school football. And I'm probably going to roll with Allen just because I think they're just better all around. Defense is nice, led by Jaden Jernigan, a 2019 Oklahoma State commit, and E.J. Adoma Ogar on the offensive line helps lead that big-time offensive line. La Habra, they're good down in SoCal. Obviously, a guy that you got to keep an eye on is a 2020 cat, Clark Phillips III. He's really been coming on. He was a MaxPreps sophomore All-American last year. He's a MaxPreps preseason junior All-American this year before the season. And he's right there with Elias Ricks and Darion Green-Warren for being the best cornerback in Southern California in the 2020 class, one of the best all around. Steve Montoya. I got to roll Placer, man. I'm not trying to get fired or nothing, so I'm going to roll Placer with that one. All right, what else? I know this guy's laughing. Android. Yeah, I got an Android, man. I'm loyal, dude. I don't got the iPhone. So stop hating, all right? Let's talk some more Florida teams, actually. A team I really like is Miami Central this year and Cardinal Gibbons. I believe both those teams are going to compete for state titles this year in their respected classes. I'm going to be at the De La Salle Folsom game there, too. I'll see you there for sure. I believe Miami Central, though, and Cardinal Gibbons are two teams to keep an eye on this year. Miami Central obviously is produced the Cook brothers and Foreman from the Atlanta Falcons. So they got some stud running backs that are kind of getting slept on this year. What other states should we be talking about? A team out in Arizona I like this year a lot too is Chandler. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania has always got some good teams. Central Catholic's always, been a power there. Dan Marino's alma mater. Who do I got from Miami Central and St. Thomas Aquinas? I'm glad these two are playing because a lot of people have said those have been the two top teams in Florida, not counting IMG lately. I'm going to go Aquinas, though. I just like what Aquinas does. They got a good running game. Marcus Roseme, a wide receiver from 2020. I think he's going to be explosive this year, and the defense is loaded. DJ Wangalele and Bryce Young, I got mad respect for both guys, and I believe they're probably the top two quarterbacks in high school football, regardless of class, along with Harrison Bailey from Marietta. I'm going to go DJ, though. He's 6'4", 250. I just think he's got more tools than Bryce Young does when it comes to just being a little taller and a little more physical. I got mad love for Bryce Young, too, and he's a big-time playmaker also, too. Mater Dei or Gorman, I'm going to be there, man. I like Gorman this year. They don't have any 4 or 5 stars, but that doesn't mean you're not like a very talented team. They got a bunch of 3 stars and a bunch of guys that are hungry this year. But I'm going to go with Mater Dei here. I just think Mater Dei has a little more talent than Bishop Gorman does. It's going to be a fun game, though. It's going to be in Las Vegas, so I'm going to be there. I can't wait, man. Kendall Milton have a chance to win Player of the Year, of course, man. He's a stud. Buchanan High School up here in Clovis, California, NorCal. He's one of the best, regardless of class, when it comes to playmaking ability. Kendall Milton's a savage. You gotta peep his film from last year, and he's going to be a playmaker this year. They got De La Salle this season, so that's going to be a big game for Kendall Milton against a national team like that. Mater Dei IMG. I look at it this way, man. IMG's got St. John's the week before, and that's going to be a very tough game. St. John's is loaded with Soljay Maeva and Rakeem Jarrett, Keelan Robinson, Alabama commit in the backfield, and then on defense you got MJ Sherman, big-time offensive line. So IMG's got them the week before, and then after that, when they play in D.C., they got to travel all the way out to Southern California, across the country, and play Mater Dei. So they got 2 top 10 teams back-to-back. I'm going to go Mater Dei, man. I know people always say I hate on IMG. I got love for IMG, man. They were number 2 to end the year last year, and they're number 3 to start the year. So I'm just being honest, man. I got Mater Dei in that one. I think that's a tough back-to-back 2-game slate for IMG, and I think it's good for them if they can just win one of those 2 games, obviously, too. I did not see Alex Young's stats last year, so what do you get? I'll get some highlights up, man, if he's got some sauce for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to take a couple more questions, and then we're going to wrap this up. Yes, Trey Sanders is at IMG Academy. He's the best running back in high school football, in my opinion. Him right there was Zach Evans and Kendall Milton we mentioned earlier. I think those are the 3 top guys. And Jerrion Ely, obviously, and Quavaris Crouch out in North Carolina, Harding University. I think those are the top 5 running backs in high school football. Alex Hogan, I don't know a ton about him, but you're going to Texas Tech. That's got to be pretty big right there. All right. Who's my favorite high school football player? I can't have a favorite high school football player, man. I can't have no bias or nothing. I gotta stay loyal to all these guys, man. I don't pick favorite players, man. I try and get as much out there for all these kids, and hopefully it helps them land D1 scholarships and everything like that. I'm just trying to help kids. Devin Ford too. Sorry, I forgot about Devin Ford. Virginia Cat, Penn State commit. He's definitely one of the best running backs. Long Beach Poly or Mission Viejo? I'm going to go Mission Viejo there. Joey Yellen, quarterback, Arizona State commit. I think he's going to have a big senior season. Okay, we're going to take one more question. That's good, man. Averaging over 200 rushing yards a game. I mean, that's doing work right there. That's good. Fantasy football's coming up. If my guy's running up for over 200 yards, I'm going to be pretty happy. All right, we're going to end on the number 1 recruit in high school football, Kayvon Thibodeau from Oaks Christian. Thanks to Thrilla. This dude's a savage, man. And I think Oaks Christian's going to have a chance to finish the year in the top 25. They got a big-time running back committed to Michigan. They got some other studs, too. So, if you haven't seen Kayvon Thibodeau, you need to. He's a grown man playing football out there. He's a fun guy to watch. Defensive line position's probably the most stacked in the 2019 class, along with wide receivers. So, get your popcorn ready for Kayvon Thibodeau, all right? All right, boys and girls, I'm out. It's been fun. Hit us up. We'll be back on next week, do a little more Instagram Live, and talk with you guys. Where do I think Elias Ricks is going? USC. We out.